Uh, Namaste everyone. Welcome to another episode, another morning episode of Nava Vimarsh. So I think we do morning episodes very short and not quite often. So welcome everyone. First of all, Shubho Navabarsho to every Bengali, and also we had 14th the New Year, the traditional harvest New Year for the whole of India. So Bihu and other festivals are celebrated. So Namaskar Bijitda and Namaskar Kalki.
Namaskar.
Namaskara.
Okay, so this is a very special day, especially for Bharat. Okay, because Kalki Productions is launching probably Bharat's first Sanatani magazine. Okay, which will be published in various languages. And it will have articles. So let's just start with Kalki Production, and please tell us about your initiative of publishing a Sanatani magazine in Bharat.
Okay, so let me get first about our Srikalki publications. Okay, let's talk about the publication house, Srikalki Publication. Imagine someone you know really passionate about a certain idea, but their passion starts to feel exclusive. That kind of vibe I get about thinking when I work in SKP. If you think about the books or the magazines, they ain't kind of celebrate all the beautiful messy stories that make up India. Instead, it just feels like they are focused on telling just one story, a specific version of what it means to be Indian, where one group is always font and center, everyone feels a bit more on the edges. Okay, it's like they have been picked out their favorite parts of history and philosophy and amplified them. Maybe glossed over the bits that don't require fit their picks. How sometimes people remember the past in a way that makes their present argument stronger. It feels a bit that,
Yes.
but not on much bigger scale, shaping a whole worldview. And the thing is, the way they talk about us and them in these books, it can feel a very much uneasy for all of us. It's not about just celebrating differences. It's more about drawing lines, making someone feel like the truly belongs, and others not so much. It's like being at a party where only one type of music is allowed and everyone else filled out of sync. These books are just sharing opinions. They're building a very specific idea of what India should be, and that idea starts from exclude people and underrated history. And when it starts to say that some historians and some voices matters more others more than the others, that's when it gets a little scary, right? It's like someone trying to paint a picture in a vibrant garden only in one color. You lose all the richness, all the beauty of the followers. So, me, when I start about Sikalki publication, it's not just about book on a shelf. It's about the power of stories to shape how we see each other and the potential those stories to build walls instead of bridges. It makes us wonder about the kind of conversations these books are starting and whether they are leading us closer together, further apart.
Thank you.
Complete.
Thank you. Yeah. So now we'll
Thanks.
head back to Mr. Vijit Prasanta, who has worked with this magazine initiative uh, very closely. So Vijit, to you, so why this initiative to get the magazine published? So could you give us more details?
Sir, your mic is closed. Is off now.
You know,
Okay,
unmute,
can you hear
unmute.
Huh.
me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Shubho Navabarsho to everyone. Happy Hindu New Year in pretty much a large expanse of the subcontinent. Um, and an idea that is rooted in astronomy, right? Like in books like Surya Siddhant, which was also adopted. Like if you, for example, go to Manusmriti, there also you get the idea of how sort of how astronomy, geometry, and spirituality get connected to define a day, a year, not in the lifetime of a man, but also in the lifetime of devtas, in the lifetime of Pitri Paksha, matlab our ancestors, um, and also in the lifetime of a Manu, in the lifetime of a Brahma, right? Which we will discuss in a little bit in more detail in a minute. But yeah, so our idea to sort of publish and come up with this magazine was basically to create a unapologetic voice for all the newly emerging Sanatani ecosystem, the very sloppily saying the Indic ecosystem that is being created as the economy and the status of India is gradually rising in the global arena. And yeah, so basically what we are going to do is we know ki this decade, for example, this is a very crucial decade from the perspective of India, because in within this decade probably Indian economy is going to thrive and is going to multiply probably 2 or 4 times, depending on obviously the global situations, but with also the hard labor of all the Sanatanis and other communities in India, right? Like various communities that dwell in this country. So, in this regard, to sort of get ourselves and the world acquainted with our beliefs, our culture, our civilizational depth, our grandeur, our resistance, our celebration of life, our festivity, our spirituality, to speak about all those things and to sort of create the narrative of India, right? By choosing what stories to tell, what are the things that we want to cover in our storytelling, how to inspire various authors. So, with this objective, we are going to sort of begin the first issue of this magazine called EKAM. Um, and you know that historically, this is not a new attempt. So historically, Ramananda Bandyopadhyay, for example, who was from Bankura, Pathokwada. He is hailed as the father of modern Indian journalism, and he started a magazine, for example, which is called Modern Review, and published a lot of issues of that magazine. And through that Modern Review, he could what he could manage was to create a very Indic Desi narrative during the British era, and in various crucial time where the British sort of crimes in India was actually soaring high. It was a magazine to sort of vent out the anger of the Aam Janta, not only the Congresi Babus, but also for the Aam Janta, and also the sort of communal split that was going on. So, this Modern Review actually has recorded a large objective history of the subcontinent, and that magazine was halted soon after the death of Ramanandaji. But yeah, so this is our inspiration to sort of in the path of Ramananda Babu, to sort of start this Pan India magazine, Pan India English magazine, which will go through rigorous review, editing processes, and which will probably be able to capture the various socio-economic condition of this country, how the political parties are fooling us, how the science is taking us ahead, science and technology and all other STEM field, how our culture is developing to tell the right story about India, what are the various factions of this country which are deceiving and fooling Sanatanis and the native people of this land. So this is our objective. It's a very simple, grounded objective, But what we are planning to do, we want to continue this for a decade or 2 decades to successfully capture as a mirror, as a gunta aina, the ongoing socio-economic condition of this country. Thanks.
Yeah. So, like I think both of you have done a lot of hard work to get this magazine. Like you reached out to me and we wanted, okay, we want this magazine to be published and could you help us? So you also gave us a trailer of the magazine. So now let me, for the audience and for you guys also.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is the trailer of the magazine. So it looks really good. Okay.
I would really
Hope.
like to say one very important thing here. It is basically our, um, uh, I mean, our juniors who
Hmm.
have pretty much contributed pretty much 100% to this work. We what we have done is we have given them some guidance, and we are also taking care of various sort of um, editorial processes. But this is very much hard work of our juniors, and it is going to be a very extensive magazine. And yeah, so I want to congratulate all our juniors and us also for being part of this great attempt. And I would encourage all the readers and all the viewers of this channel to please, give us encouragement, order your copy when it is getting published, and let us know what you think about this magazine. Yeah, Kalki, you want to say something?
About the release of the magazine, I would like to say that on at the occasion of the birth of Raisheshta Protapayitto, we will launch EKAM 12 May. Okay, so
Yes.
everyone is invited here. We will
So
launch
okay,
the magazine
okay,
in 12 May.
okay. 12 P. Fine, fine, fine. Sure.
Yes.
So is it okay? So just a few questions on the magazine itself. So is it going to be a physical copy? Is it going to be available on soft copy as a PDF or other format? In which format it is going to be available to people if you want to purchase it?
The magazine will be like there will be two copies. One will be
Mm-hmm.
in soft copy, the e-copy, and
Mm-hmm.
the physical copy. Okay, the physical copy will be having many premium features, which like very few things will be missed in e-copy. So I would prefer everyone to uh, buy the premium copy itself, because it will be having very much uh, premiumness in its features, like the arts, the cover, the storyline, everything will be very much comprehensive than the e-copy itself.
Got it. Got it. So now, now we'll step back from the magazine a little bit, and now we're going to talk about the Bengali New Year. So generally, so because both of you are Bengali, okay. So because 14th is generally the new harvest year across India, but 15th is in for Bengal. Why is there is a 1 day delay? Like, is
Right.
that something?
No, so the main idea is so there is a strong okay. So whatever idea of calendar that exists in the
Hmm.
subcontinent, um, it is rooted in various sort of astronomy books like Surya Siddhant, for example, or various works of Barahmir. And there you can see that there is always you have asked a very important question. Actually, let me explain. It is a very scientific reason. It is not for any Bangladesh, India, or other thing. Although Bangladesh is trying to create this sort of narrative, कि एक दिन आगे रखेंगे and all, but it is not that simple. Okay, so the idea of calendar is rooted in Surya Siddhant. Probably it started with Surya Siddhant, and also later followed by various astronomical works by people like Barahmir. Um, and then you know that there are you can define, okay, the idea of a day, the idea of a din can be defined in various ways. There can be sidereal days, there can be lunar days, or there can be solar days, right?
Okay,
I will.
most people don't know about it. So you have
Okay,
to explain what is it.
I'm going to explain. And similarly, for the
Hmm.
month, you can define lunar month and you can define solar month. And for the year, you can define sidereal year, which is the nakshatric verse, and the solar year, which is the Saura Vatsar, right? Saura year. Why this is so? See, because time itself is, I mean, time is what? Time is basically dual to movement. Movement of what? So, movement of, at least in what, in our observable world, physically observable world, it is the movement of celestial motions, right? It is the motion of various celestial objects.
Yeah,
Now,
so I was going through this book, so just to people to actually just add to this. So it's called
acha,
the Darshana. So we're going to read this book. It's a very difficult book to read actually. So Kal Darshana talks about the Indic or Sanatani understanding of time itself. So through Vedic and other texts and scriptures. Please go ahead.
acha. So, हाँ, so basically, depending on the periodicity of various celestial object, uh, Bhupenji, you are frozen, but I
You can
think.
continue. You can continue. You
अच्छा
can
अच्छा ठीक है.
continue.
तो मैं क्या बोल रहा था, हाँ, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द पीरियोडिसिटी ऑफ वेरियस celestial movement, we have defined these quantities, right? For example, if you talk about the solar day or the sidereal day, so solar day, we assume ki it is as simple as the concept of one single rotation of earth around its own axis. But you have to then remember that when the Earth is moving around its own axis, it is also traversing some distance, right? Because it is traversing some distance, the sun will not rise at the exact position the next day, right? And in fact, it delay up to 4 minutes. So in general, in that case, in order to sort of get the correct periodicity in a way, what we do ki we check ki what is the star that is rising at that month, right? So in general, what happened, because actually stars are assumed to be, right, for our mathematical calculation, we assume to be at infinitely far away. तो फिर the ray that is coming from the star is of parallel, which means कि if we assume that the stars are infinitely far away, the it will so it, and the light is coming parallel, which means कि if we calculate कि how much is the time interval between the rise of that of a very specific star, that time interval will denote a day. What is that day? It is a sidereal day. Now, sidereal day in general, it is around 4 minutes ahead of the solar day, 4 minutes ahead of the solar rise, which is the sunrise on the next day. So this 4 minutes, if you add up gradually in a year or within a solar year, it will add up to 1 day. Okay, so that's why there is a difference of around 1 day between a solar year and a sidereal year. तो इसलिए इन जनरल ये मतलब जो सोलर ईयर और साइडेरियल है ईयर है, उसका बिगिनिंग में एक दिन का गैप होता है. Now you know कि there are in the various sections, various state of this country, कहीं कहीं क्या होता है, कहीं कहीं प्योर सोलर ईयर और सोलर मंथ मनाया जाता है, कहीं कहीं लूनर ईयर लूनर मंथ मनाया जाता है, और कहीं कहीं क्या होता है, सोलर ईयर और लूनर मंथ मनाया जाता है. And Bengal is one such state, और Bengalis are one such people जिन्होंने जो सोलर ईयर मनाते हैं उसके साथ उनका जो कैलेंडर में वो लूनर मंथ लेते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये सब वेरिएशंस मतलब एग्जिस्ट करता है. बट द वन डे गैप बिटवीन द साइडेरियल ईयर एंड द सोलर ईयर इज ड्यू टू द फैक्ट कि जो सन है इट राइजेस 4 minutes after the specific nakshatra in which the moon is sitting. Saying it in a very simple Ponjika wise knowledge. इसीलिए 4 मिनट का वो जो गैप होता है, इसलिए एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर सोलर ईयर एक दिन का गैप होता है.
Got it, got it. I think you gave a very like good explanation, because a lot of people would not. And correct, it's a so
It's an
just one more.
astronomical thing. It has nothing to do with Akbar getting whatever taxes and all these things as Bangladesh has created. They are anyway very stupid people. They don't have any idea about calendar, and they have never created a calendar on their own. And pretty much just like the whole cult is, borrowed from here and there from other cults or other dharmas. So no wonder they will not be able to gauge that 1 day difference, and it is because it is scientific, right?
Yeah, yeah.
तो हाँ, तो यही मेरा कहना है, इसमें अकबर का कुछ लेना देना नहीं है.
यहाँ पे
Okay.
अकबर का कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, बट देर इज एन हिस्टोरिकल कनेक्शन ऑल्सो. द कनेक्शन इज अबाउट द कोरोनेशन ऑफ गौडेश्वर शशांको, अबाउट द
हाँ, right.
किंग ऑफ बंगाल. He also started the Bongabdo, the Bengali New Year calendar, and
Right.
that's to be funny or to be like what to say, reveal a secret. He was one of my ancestor from my paternal lineage, so I'm
अच्छा.
basically his own descendant.
अच्छा.
So we
हाँ,
are.
so the Bongabdo that Shoshanko created when he was coronated, and we celebrate, Bengali celebrate. तो वो भी एक्चुअली विक्रम संवत से आता है ना. विक्रम संवत कहाँ से आता है? विक्रम संवत विक्रमादित्य जो है उनके टाइम से ये कैलेंडर बनाए गए थे और एग्जॉस्टिव कैलकुलेशन किया गया था, या फिर
Hmm.
काफी सारे एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल पैरामीटर है जो 1000-2000 साल बाद अपडेट किया जाता है. तो इट इज अज्यूम्ड कि लास्ट टाइम जब ये सब जो हम लोग जो पोंजिका यूज करते हैं, जो अपना क्या बोलते हैं उसे, पोंजिका का इंग्लिश क्या होता है?
In English, I don't really remember, but I think people will
हाँ, जो
understand
पंजी का
something.
यूज करते
Yeah.
हैं उसका जो
Understand.
वो तो उसका जो आप कैलकुलेशन देखते हो कि ये टाइम में ये तिथि है, उसमें कुछ एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल पैरामीटर यूज होता है ना. वो पैरामीटर अपडेट किया जाता है आफ्टर 1000 years, क्योंकि क्योंकि देयर आर टू रीजन कि अर्थ का जो ये रोटेशन होता है अराउंड इट्स ओन एक्सिस, ये एक्चुअली प्योर रोटेशन ना होके इसके साथ एक प्रिसिशन भी होता है. तो अर्थ एक लट्टू की तरह एक्चुअली घूमता है, और ये अराउंड आई थिंक 20,000 से 26,000 साल के बीच कोई एक रेंज रहता है. ये
26,000 years.
हाँ, एक प्रिसिशन कंप्लीट करने में. तो उसके वजह से पोलर स्टार चेंज हो जाता है. नाउ व्हेन द पोलर स्टार चेंजेस, क्या होता है कि द होल सेलेस्टियल स्फीयर, right, the way you draw the coordinate of all those nakshatras in the navotal, in the celestial sphere, वो चेंज होता रहता है. तो उस हिसाब से क्योंकि इसमें इसके लिए कैलकुलेशन में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है, तो थोड़ा पैरामीटर अपडेट किया जाता है इन चेंज पे जब तुम मैनुअल कैलकुलेशन करते हो, लाइक यू डू इन पंजिका, लाइक द वे इट वाज डन इन द एंशिएंट टाइम. तो उस हिसाब से लास्ट टाइम जो जब ये पैरामीटर्स अपडेट हुए थे, इट इज बिलीव्ड कि इट वाज डन एट द टाइम ऑफ विक्रमादित्य. तो इसलिए विक्रम संवत जो है वो एक कैलेंडर का एक्चुअली दैट क्रिएटेड अ फ्लरी ऑफ कैलेंडर सिस्टम्स. एंड उसके बाद शशांक के टाइम में जैसे वहां से बंगाब्द का कैलकुलेशन चालू होता है. अगेन इट इज बिलीव्ड कि उस समय से चालू होता है.
Yes, so just to actually a kind of curious question. So we have Bengali calendar. We have I think Assam also has their own calendar. Uh, the in the south region, Tamil has its own calendar. So different regions have different kind of calendars. So is there a scientific reason behind having these calendars, or is there something just related to culture or astronomy, or even the
Right,
weather
just
patterns?
as I said
Hmm.
कि एक तो बेसिकली दिन भी डिपेंड करता है हाउ यू डिफाइन इट. आर यू डिफाइनिंग इट बेस्ड ऑन द राइज ऑफ द star on which the moon is sitting or based on the rise of the sun, right? तो उस हिसाब से सौर दिन होता है या फिर नाक्षत्रिक दिन होता है. और फिर इस हिसाब से सौर मास भी होता है और चांद्र मास भी होता है और फिर सौर वत्सर होता है, नाक्षत्रिक वत्सर होता है. नाउ आप कौन सा कन्वेंशन लेते हो इन द कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ योर डे और मंथ और ईयर, उस हिसाब से आपका कैलेंडर बनता है.
Got it. Got it. So, in general, when we talk about, I think Thailand also correct has its own calendar, which is
It may
based
have, yeah, yeah, right.
on their actually like our calendar itself. So they have the same kind of thing.
हाँ, नो
Like
वंडर, नो वंडर.
so
जैसे
it is there.
आप यहाँ पे मैं एक और क्रिश्चियन और ग्रेगोरियन एनोमली बताने वाला हूँ, जैसे
Hmm,
जो
hmm,
आई थिंक रिसेंटली उठाया गया था एंड इट गॉट
hmm.
पॉपुलराइज्ड एंड इट हैज वैलिड रीजन टू फॉर अस टू बिलीव कि ये सच है कि ये जो आप देख रहे हो कि इस टाइम पे अप्रैल के टाइम पे चालू हो रहा है ईयर, राइट एंड ऑल. तो उन्होंने जो ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर है वहां पे जैसे सितंबर हो गया तो वो सप्टेम्बर मतलब वो सातवां महीना होना चाहिए था, बट एक्चुअली वो नवा महीना हो गया. देन अष्टंबर जो अक्टूबर बनाया गया, नवंबर जो नवंबर बन गया, राइट. दसंबर जो दिसंबर हो गया. अंबर मतलब सो ओके, सो देयर आर 12 राशिज, राइट. 12 राशिज मींस कॉन्स्टलेशंस. So Hindus, when they were constructing calendars, they were interested in specific. So once you have the celestial sphere and you have the motion of the sun, right? So only the pole star doesn't change. By around two pole stars, the whole celestial sphere is changing. Now the sun is and moon is moving in that celestial sphere, right? तो जब ये अपना अजान होता है, सन अपना 12 कॉन्स्टलेशन के पास रहता है. तो हिंदूज व्हाट दे डिड, दे डिवाइडेड द होल स्फीयर into sort of 12 segments based on the nearby stellar constellations. तो वो राशि बन गया एक एक. फिर क्या हुआ, चांद का जो मोशन है वो भी लगभग 27 दिन में, क्योंकि ये पीरियोडिक, द मोशन ऑफ द लूनर मोशन इज पीरियोडिक विद पीरियोडिसिटी ऑफ अराउंड 27 डेज. तो उसको बनाया गया कि 27 नक्षत्रास, राइट. अमंग देम द ब्राइटेस्ट नक्षत्र वाज रोहिणी. तो रोहिणी बिकेम द फेवरेट वाइफ ऑफ मून, राइट. ये जो 27 जो नक्षत्र है, दे आर थॉट टू बी द वाइफ ऑफ चंद्र, राइट. फिर चंद्र का क्या है, चंद्र का हाँ जैसे वैक्सिंग वेनिंग होता है, उसके हिसाब से फिर डिसाइड किया गया ये जो एक महीना होता है उसमें एक शुक्ल पक्ष होता है, कृष्ण पक्ष होता है. और एक जो महीना है उसको अपना जो पितृपुरुष है, जो अपने इंसेस्टर्स है, उनके हिसाब से एक दिन बोला गया है. और जो एक साल है इसको एक एक देवता का बत्सर कहा गया है. एक कल्प को मतलब देवता का एक दिन कहा गया है. वन ईयर इज अराउंड वन डे इन फॉर द देवतास एंड वन कल्पा is one day for a Manu. And I think around 26,000 year or something, which is again the precession जो होता है around that, मतलब उतना time actually it is one day for Brahma. ठीक है. तो उस हिसाब से बनाया गया है. एंड हाँ तो इट इज अ वेरी एक्सटेंसिव प्रोसेस एक्चुअली. But it is actually based on the celestial motion of these objects, right? हाँ तो यही मेरा आंसर रहेगा.
Yes. So okay. So I think Kalki has dropped out. So,
Acha.
do you, okay, let me check with him whether he will joining or not, or he has any technical issue. So what we need to do is, okay, so let's talk about a little bit of the magazine. So do we have a snippet of the topics or the stories which are covering in the magazine? Do we have any soft copy available? We can just share a bit of snippets.
Right, right. So let me check what are the topics we have pretty much covered. Um, so there are various themes that we are covering in this magazine, such as obviously cultural heritage and historical truths. Um, Topics such as the one that we are discussing, what is actually Poila Boishak, and how it is like connected to the history of Bengal, and debunking the myths such as was Bengali New Year created for tax collection or does it go deeper? So this is pretty much Bengal specific discussion, but it is relevant for pretty much all the calendars. It is just because the idea of Bengali year is being distorted by the Bangladeshis. That's why we had to come up with this topic. And then India through the lens of truth, which are the historical truths, where we are discussing the misconceptions about Indian histories and how it got whitewashed by the Marxo Ashrafi historians. And then, yeah, what are the roles of Indian politics and, for example, Indian judiciary um, in distorting this truth? Then, yeah, the overall the freedom movement in India. Then philosophical reflection for a new year, right? What does it mean in the context of a new year? And then science and rationality. So in this magazine, then we have topics such as like various paintings we are providing, right? Both digital as well as physical paintings. We have what else? Yeah, we have, I think, fictions and poetries. We have political discussions and commentaries on contemporary issues. Um, what else we are covering? Yeah, photographies, poetry, and then what else? Yeah, Palki is joining.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so
And about language, identity, culture, there are a few sort of
Sorry, I was
articles on
left.
that.
yeah, no problem.
Right. So
Welcome
we
back.
were.
Welcome back.
So, what's the question?
Okay, the question is like, do you have a
What is the
soft
question?
yeah, the question is, do you have a soft copy which you can like show us a snippet of the topics which are covered? Like, if something is there for the audience to
I
see.
can't show you the soft copy, but I can show you some details. Yes, I can showcase
Yeah,
some details,
please go ahead.
like
Please go ahead.
debunking some pseudo-scientists, debunking some pseudo-scientists who claim that our heritage is like fake, or the scriptures are like always on philosophy and nothing to do with science. These kind of things. Also, there is a debate between a theism and atheism thing, and underrated history about all over India's and the for the children, most for the children, the stories which unifies India, like stories from Bengal, stories from Odisha, stories from Kerala, stories from Tamil Nadu, stories from Gujarat, Rajasthan, which all makes the part of India. Okay, and we have galleries, various pics and photographs. We have drawings, sculptural drawings, which again showcase our India's culture heritage. Okay, then we have politics. Some controversial topics are written. I can't highlight these topics for now, but when this will release, again audience will see what are the surprises they will got. Okay,
Yeah, got it. So now, let me, we will
anything
finish our
more?
discussion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll finish our discussion with one specific thing that I wanted to discuss. Let me just share my screen and
Yes.
just hold on. I think it needs to be again reshared. Here it is. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see my screen. So these are the topics that actually are covered in the magazine. So I want to, before we take some questions from the audience, we would like to just discuss one specific thing: science and rationality and modern superstition. Explore Bengal scientific minds. So this science and rationality versus modern superstition. So could you just discuss about this specific topic and why you chose this topic and write an article on this? Give some a bit of insight into this. To Bijita.
Should I take the? Ha,
Yeah,
ठीक है.
yeah. Mm.
Right. So, I mean, when the Hindu Renaissance happened, and I have covered it, some part of it in my book, History of Hindu Mystery and Hindu Genocide. So, when this was happening, it was actually a Renaissance, and pretty much all sectors of human knowledge or Hindu knowledge system or Indian knowledge system was impacted by this Renaissance, by this Navajavaran, right? Um, and obviously science was a part of it, along with everything like art, architecture, painting, spirituality, um, yeah, social reformations. Um, just like that, science was also a field was hugely impacted, and it probably started with people like Jagdish Chandra Bose, who had immense contribution in sort of framing the sort of education system in Calcutta. Other than that, various inventions such as crescograph, then similar other sort of systems to detect the even the smallest amount of movement and growth of a plant. um, then it is now agreed internationally that Jagdish Chandra Bose invented betar, right, radio, and he in fact demonstrated an experiment, a radio experiment, in Presidency College, which was much before Marconi, who got Nobel Prize for it. And then, other than that, obviously, he created a large pool of students, starting from Satyan Bose, Meghnad Saha. I think there was other guy, Devendra Bose as well, I guess. But yeah, so bright stars like or Gopal Chandra Bhattacharya, I think, also was in Calcutta in the contemporary time. But out of them, really, Satyan Bose and Meghnad Saha really stood out, because without Meghnad Saha and Satyan Bose, we cannot even imagine modern physics, for example. Just to reinstate that and illustrate that, Meghnad Saha gave an equation called the Saha equation, which is basically the very foundational basis of everything in plasma physics and a large part of nuclear physics. Um, and then Satyan Bose. Satyan Bose gave Bose-Einstein statistics. He is the most famous for that. And this is so fundamental that there are, all the particles, pretty much all the particles in our physical observable universe, they either obey the Bose-Einstein statistics or the Fermi-Dirac statistics. All those particles who obey Bose-Einstein statistics are called bosons. They are, in general, they are spin one, integer spin particle, and the particles who obey the Fermi-Dirac statistics, they are spin half particle, so to say. Like their spin is either half or 3/2, and they are called fermions. Here, spin is a relativistic idea. It is a very much, this is an idea which emerged when you successfully merge the quantum mechanics with special relativity, as demonstrated by Dirac through Dirac equation and its solution in the context of an electron. Um, but uh, in the bigger context, you can say that these discoveries of what Satyan Bose did, it actually opened the door of quantum statistics and later quantum field theory. Um, so you cannot imagine modern physics without Satyan Bose and also for Meghnad Saha, right? So Saha equation, for example, which is the basis of plasma physics and nuclear physics, it actually tells you about thermal ionization. Now, what is that? So whenever you heat up any material, you know that some portion of the some electrons they get actually free from their orbital around their parent nucleus, and the amount of free electron depend on the temperature, and how much electron in a material or in a gas are free. It is found from the Saha equation. Now, if you use the Saha equation in astronomy, for example, you can sort of see the spectra of different stars. Just from the light coming from that star, you can tell the various components that is there inside the star. Remarkable discovery. You don't have to go to a star to find out the component, right? But you just need the Saha equation to find out the component of a star. Both were Nobel worthy, prize worthy discoveries. But hey, who care about Nobel Prize? Because these are anyway immortal discoveries, and these discoveries are going to stay as long as human civilization exists. So yeah, I just discussed about Saha and Bose. I can just go on similar way. Like even in modern day, you we can name a lot of people, including Ashok Sen, who is the foundational who is the founding father, one of the founding fathers of string theory. So he gave again various ideas like tachyon condensation, for example. And he's also, I mean, he's still active. And these guys, I mean, people like Ashok Sen, these scientists, they are really shaping up the modern physics in its purest form and its more accurate form. Yeah, so that would be my 2 cents on this
Hmm.
topic, I think.
Yeah. So we'll finish up our discussion with our last topic. Not topic, but related to this. So when we talk about a Sanatani magazine and we talk about modern physics, okay, or modern scientific thinking, okay. So most people who have grown up in a kind of secular education, okay, would
is asking.
generally equate religious practices with superstition and rational thinking with science. So is that something which is correct observation of people, or
Can you
uh,
repeat? Can you repeat the question?
yeah, I am
And
repeating the
Kalki,
question.
can you please mute? I just
Hmm. Yeah. So
this.
my question is that generally religious practices. Okay. So there is a concept of correct. All religions are same. All religions. So including Hinduism is same. So religion is something which is superstition, is rational, and scientific thinking is rational and more practical in nature. But we know that, as you mentioned, correct, the Punjika, okay, the Panchan. So Panchana is something which is based on mathematical calculation, and that is part of our religious text. So
Right.
this irrationality of religion and rationality of science, which is a kind of a Western construct, and that has been now imposed on our also Sanatani culture. So most people who grow up going to school and graduating, they will think that every religion is irrational, including Sanatan Dharma. So, but how do you say to people that okay, and how you in the magazine itself, do you have any specific articles or contents which you discuss, which actually refocus the idea from like a binary centric world to differentiate between the Western religious thought and Eastern religious thought?
Right. I mean, first of all, I mean, by default, not all religion are the same because they have different historical origin, they have different dynamics and evolution, they have different doctrines. They conceive the idea of God or Bhagwan or Ishwar. I mean, even the names are different of the divine entity that they imagine, and the functioning of those gods. Those are even different. So, I mean, the default position of a rational human being should be that not all religions are the same. I mean, I don't know how stupid we are to have come up with that narrative कि all religions are the same. I mean, it's just like saying कि मेरा बड़ा भाई और छोटा भाई और whatever भाई they are the same. I mean, they're not the same, right? I mean, okay, in from some point of view, two electrons across, I mean, in any point in the universe may be the same because they are part of the same electron field. But there is no field like religion field out of which you quantize the religion field and you get a religion out of it. So they are not the same. And but obviously you have to then check how much questionable, I mean, can you question within a religion, for example, right? Every religion has good part, bad part. Hinduism or Hindu Dharma or Sanatana Dharma has various good aspect and bad aspect. But when talking about this specific topic like religion, Hindu Dharma allows the criticism. In fact, the origin of Hindu Dharma or Sanatana Dharma, or much of any pagan dharma, for example, pagan ideas, they are originated in astronomy. So, for example, you know that it started when the cavemen, an ancient caveman, imagine an ancient caveman, you are a caveman, you are trying to make sense of the sort of forces beyond your reach, right? And you are trying to, you have your, inside your mind, you have this meandering primitive emotions and expressions, right? You probably don't know how to talk. I mean, you don't have a language, for example. Then, when you don't even have a language, how are you trying to make sense of a physical world? It started from there. And then that caveman probably started to look up, and he saw that okay, there are these things which are moving, some of them are moving too fast, so he or she named them sun, moon, and the planets because they were the fastest moving sort of objects in the sky. So they detected those celestial objects. Then they saw that some objects are relatively slow moving and they are constant in that whole celestial sphere that I already discussed. So they named them stars, nakshatras, right? नक्षत्र मीन्स जिनका क्षय नहीं होता, राइट? समथिंग दैट डजंट डीके. तो फिर वहां से फिर कुछ लोग प्योरली एस्ट्रोनॉमी में चले गए, कुछ लोग भावलोक में चले गए. तो ये बेसिकली भूतलोक में कुछ लोग सॉर्ट ऑफ आप कह सकते हो रिसर्च करने लगे, कुछ लोग फिर भावलोक में रिसर्च करने लगे. जो लोग भावलोक में रिसर्च करने लगे दे क्रिएटेड वेरियस दर्शनस. जो लोग भूतलोक में रिसर्च करने लगे दे क्रिएटेड या पंचांग, फॉर एग्जांपल. आई मीन दे क्रिएटेड एस्ट्रोनॉमी, दे क्रिएटेड नाट्य शास्त्र. They and they then these two area, Bhutlok and Bhavlok, ideas in these two loks, they sort of converge to create gods. So for example, I told you कि जैसे सूरज का मतलब the sun stays in 12 rashis, the moon stays in 27 nakshatras. I'm just giving you an example. Now 12 and 27 are not, I mean 27 is not completely divisible by 12. So you cannot sort of uh, so for a given, let's say, rashi, the moon can stay in two nakshatras, right? That was leading to sort of anomalies in calculations and sort of inconvenience in calculations. So what they did, they, rather than segmenting the whole celestial sphere by 12 or 27, they took the lowest common multiple of 12 and 27, which is 108. So they then divided the whole celestial sphere into 108, I mean 108 segments, right? And then came the sort of Bhavlok guys. They said कि अच्छा ठीक है, if this is the universe, imagine कि there are 108 petaled lotus, and at the nabhi of that lotus, right? So this whole lotus is sort of the universe, and the nabhi of it, there sits the sun, right? And the sun is the Aditya. Now they imagine Vishnu originally. So Vishnu originally was Aditya. Vishnu originally was a solar god, which later changed to be one of the three murtis, right? फिर वहां से वहां से जो लोटस निकला उसके ऊपर बैठे ब्रह्मा, हु इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग द अर्थ, कि ये जो जिसने जो क्रिएट किया है. ठीक, इस तरह से चीजें बनता गया. So it is again, some people in Hindu Dharma researched, kept researching on the Bhavloks, Some people went into digging deeper of the bhutlok, the physical world. Then they merged. They sometimes created areas like astronomy, and then sometimes they created areas like Vedas, for example. And then they created Vyakaran, right? Grammar, language. So it is really the spirituality and the most naive, most primitive sort of curiosity of a caveman that created all these fields. And these fields are really connected. Whenever you think of astronomy, geometry, spirituality, religion, in the context of Hindu Dharma, they are connected. But on the other hand, for Islam or Christianity, they are born out of political movements. So Christianity was born out of the failed priesthood of the Judaism, right? Islam was created out of again a very violent political movement in Saudi Arabia, where certain people came and they tried to say कि ये पूजा बंद होगा, वो पूजा बंद करना पड़ेगा, मूर्ति तोड़ना पड़ेगा. So these are actually political militant doctrine which had a political origin than a scientific origin of sheer curiosity. And manifestedly, that's why I mean, Islam or Christianity are spiritually, in terms of knowledge, in terms of everything, right? In terms of the most primitive expression of human beings, Christianity, or I mean, overall, the Abrahamic religions are different than Sanatana Dharma and a large chunk of pagan quote unquote religions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think we have few minutes, so we'll take a few questions. Just to but to finish off it. In, so what I understood is that this Sanatana Dharma or the Hindu Dharma, okay, is a culmination of human curiosity, okay, to understand its surrounding, understand its environment, and understand himself. So, so that is why we have a kind of a merged entity where the spiritual or abstract and the physical both interact with each other. So, and then we create a new kind of forms, correct? The Vishnu avatar, and how the Vishnu avatar has an abstract, uh, uh, how to say, an abstract thought process which gets
Right.
solidifies into a physical form.
Correct.
So it intermingles, interchanges itself. Okay, and in terms of Abrahamic faith, it is something which is a binary in nature. Okay,
Right.
where there is a clear separation between logic and what is irrational. Here, the rationality is something which is imagined as irrational, and irrational becomes rational, and it interchanges with actually interpretations itself.
Right. I mean, even in Islam, right? For example,
Hmm.
just give me 1 minute.
Hmm. Hmm.
तुम्हें
Hmm.
नमाज पढ़ने से पहले ईमान बांधना पड़ता है या फिर कुरान पढ़ने से पहले ईमान बांध उसका मतलब क्या है कि whenever you start questioning कुरान, राइट, और इस्लाम, तुम्हारे मन में जो डाउट पैदा होता है उसका वजह से तुम खारिज हो जाते हो, तुम मुर्तद हो जाते हो. ठीक है. सिमिलर थिंग इन क्रिश्चियनिटी ऑल्सो. आई मीन वी नो द डार्क हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूरोप, जहाँ गैलीलियो को क्या कुछ तो झेलना पड़ा. सिर्फ गैलीलियो नहीं, उस टाइम के सारे जो साइंटिस्ट थे उनको झेलना पड़ा था. न्यूटन को कम झेलना पड़ा था क्योंकि वॉज एसोसिएटेड विद द चर्च और तब तक रिफॉर्म हो चुका था. बट इफ यू थिंक ऑफ like pagan icons, or we can call them Hindu icons like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, right? I mean, okay, in the chronology is Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. I mean, they were pagan icons, they were Hindu icons. After that, what happened? You had a almost 1500 year of darkness due to Christianity in Europe, right? मैं और एक पॉइंट बोलना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे. जैसे मनुस्मृतियों को लेके काफी चर्चा होता है, एंड देयर आर वेरी some number of contentious like
Hmm.
slokas there. Um, but if you read at least the first 30 slokas of Manusmriti, there you can see the attempt of Manu to sort of engage in a very specific thing, which is that ki, अब तो फिजिकल वर्ल्ड जो है वो दिख रहा है, वो तो सॉर्ट ऑफ एस्ट्रोनॉमी के थ्रू एक्सप्लेन हो गया है। एक दूसरा दुनिया है जो अंदर का दुनिया है। वो कैसे क्रिएट हुआ, कैसे मन क्रिएट हुआ, कैसे हाउ ईगो वाज क्रिएटेड, हाउ कॉन्शियसनेस वाज क्रिएटेड, व्हाट विकार केम, हाउ गुनाज वर क्रिएटेड। ठीक है, मनुस्मृति का जो पहला 30 श्लोक का है, जस्ट गो थ्रू देम, दे आर प्योर लाइक वर्क ऑफ जीनियस। और फिर मनु ने उसके बाद जो ट्राई किया कि ये तो वर्ल्ड को कैसे मिलाया जाए। इफ यू रीड दैट ना, यू विल गेट द आइडिया कि ये कोशिश क्या कर रहा है जो भी मनुस्मृति लिख रहा है। कि ये जो दुनिया है, जो मान लीजिए कि कोई पितृ पितृ मतलब जैसे एक दिन है, वो तो ह्यूमन डे है, फिर शुक्ल पक्ष कृष्ण कृष्ण पक्ष होता है, मतलब वहां पे डुअलिटी को मिलाया गया है कि देयर इज डुअलिटी इन दिस यूनिवर्स। तो 15 दिन शुक्ल पक्ष होता है, 15 दिन कृष्ण पक्ष होता है, ये मिला के पितृपक्ष का एक दिन होता है। फिर एक साल में उत्तरायण होता है, दक्षिणायन होता है, तो ये डुअलिटी रहता है। वो मिला के देवता का एक दिन होता है। ऐसे उन्होंने क्या किया, वो सेलेस्टियल मोशन और जो तुम्हारे ड्यूटीज है उसको मिला दिया, जो भावलोक है भूतलोक है उन दोनों को मिला दिया। उस तरह से यू दिस गाय मनु और whoever the writer was, they created some norms, some social codes based on the cosmic code, so to say। कॉस्मिक कोड को ऐसे ह्यूमन कोड में कैसे लाया गया, समाज कैसे क्रिएट किया गया, हमारा कर्तव्य कैसे क्रिएट, इस तरह से क्रिएट किया गया कि तुम्हारा जो दिन है और भगवान का दिन है, somehow they are connected, so behave accordingly। तो बाकी रिलीजन जब आप देखोगे, वो सब आर्बिट्री है। आर्बिट्री क्यों है? क्योंकि ये सब आइडिया से चुराया गया है वहां पे, है ना। वाई दे आर अटैकिंग मनुस्मृति? बिकॉज मनुस्मृति एटलीस्ट मतलब पहला 30-50 श्लोका तो दे आर प्योर जेम। और वहां पे पूरा आई थिंक द ओरिजिन ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ social understanding, right? The socio-dynamics in terms of meta-scientific or these kind of principles, they are rooted in Manusmriti. That's why they want to destroy Manusmriti. Yeah, that's my answer to it.
Yes. So one of the primary things people need to understand is that pretty much all the ancient Hindu texts are written over hundreds of years. Okay? From Mahabharata to Upanishads to Ramayana, Puran,
Hundreds to
Puranas.
thousands, yeah.
I mean, say, let's take a conservative estimate of hundreds of years. Okay. So just to take the conservative, even for hundreds of years, those texts are not written by a single human being. Okay. So because there have been, and that was something which was quite normal to actually update the text according to that time. So it captures that uh, concept, that times people thinking. So there are a lot of dualities, and there are a lot of changes in the way the Manusmriti is written, because that reflects that specific times society and people thinking itself. So we will not be a good person or bad person over the whole year. Sometimes we will do good things and bad things. So everything is documented there. So at the initial stages, it was a good, good sort of people wrote it down. So it was different. Then the society changed, and then we see all the bad things which are there. Again, it can be interpreted in many ways, but it's important to understand that when it comes to the Abrahamic texts, they are very less anyway. Another thing is that there is no definite time frame and when who wrote it, but in terms of our ancient Indian text, Hindu text, there is a chronology, and which is there within the text itself.
Right.
That is very important to understand that every Hindu text, sometimes they are in abstract form, give you who wrote it, how wrote it, who was there. You have time is very important. So nakshatra, the position of stars, is very important in every Hindu text, which actually gives you the, it's called like astronomy.
Right, right. For example, if you consider Bhagavad Gita में श्री कृष्ण is saying कि ये यहाँ से धीरे धीरे मेरे पास आया है, right? There are श्लोकास related to that. मनुस्मृति में आया है कि ये ब्रह्मा से आया है, उसके बाद ऋषियों के पास गया, फिर वो घूमते घूमते मनु के पास आया, और मैं मनु ये बात बोल रहा हूँ। है ना. You consider the stories of वेदास एंड उपनिषद, वहां पे लिखा हुआ है कि कौन से ऋषि का कौन सा शिष्य थे, जिनके साथ ये सब इवेंट हुआ था, एंड देन हाउ ही और शी रिएक्टेड. उसके बेसिस पे मोरल टीचिंग्स क्रिएट किया गया. जब काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस किया जाता है, तब क्वेश्चन होता है अच्छा इस स्टूडेंट ने वो वाला क्वेश्चन पूछा था. So there are always some sort of references that are given in those textbooks. Yeah, they are ancient, so they have the ancient form of referencing. But nevertheless, मतलब referencing properly used हुआ है. The biggest sort of uh, crime that we have done, or the British have done, कि they have dismissed all those referencing. और काफी टाइम जैसे हमारा यूनिवर्सिटीज वगैरह डिस्ट्रॉय, उससे वो रेफरेंसिंग का जो प्रथा था वो खत्म हो गया, क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी खत्म हो गया. कुछ मतलब कुछ दो तीन बुकें थी, मतलब कंसीडर टू द ह्यूज लाइब्रेरी, हमारे पास कुछ छोटे मोटे बुक्स ही रह गए हैं, बाकी सब तो खो ही गया है. इवन फॉर एग्जाम्पल जो अर्थशास्त्र था, वो भी कहीं से तो उद्धार हुआ था. It was not known before, right? It gradually became popularized during the British period.
Yes, so we will discuss. So what we will do is, with that, we will discuss this specific book, time. Okay, the way the Hindu time uh, format works. So we will
Sure.
review and discuss this book maybe in our next stream. Okay, because
Right.
like you will be able to actually give much more better things on that in
Sure,
terms
sure.
of the Hindu concept of time, okay, which is actually discussed here. So we'll take a few questions. So we have a question. Let me now remove this. Uh, yeah, Kalki, there is some actually audio noise from your end. So yeah, so the when the magazine cover will be shown in the okay. So magazine cover is will be okay. Magazine cover is not right now available. It is being worked upon. But I think in the mid of May it will be available. Yeah, Kalki.
Your voice is cracking now. What's the tentative date of the magazine to be? 12th May. 12th May, it will be released.
12th May. Okay. And now, how will people be able to get this? Okay, there's some noise coming from your end.
Oh, that's the topic. I can't help it.
Uh-huh.
Uh, how can how can one outside of India? So you have to order the magazine. You have to order the magazine. We will give you the link. You have to order that, and after ordering, we will send you the physical copy. Now that's your that you will buy the soft copy or e-copy or copy.
Yeah, e-copy is also available, by the way. Right. It will be
Copies will
available.
be available.
Right.
Okay. Any tentative price details that you can share? What will be?
Not for now.
Not right
Not
now,
for now.
yeah.
It can't. Right now. We will
Because the
share.
editing is going on, so based on that, we will be setting the price based on how
We
big it is
will
going to be.
the price, the covers, everything, but in another episode.
Right, right.
Before the we will uncover these things.
Well, maybe we
Okay.
can show the trailer again before closing it.
Yeah. So we will finish off with the trailer. So thank you, Kalki. Thank you, Vijita, for your time. So we will connect again. Okay. And so Shubhra also again to everybody, to you, to audience, everybody.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram, and we'll finish off with the trailer again. So we have a request from Barbika Smriti that since we are in the topic of time, can we do a stream on the concept of Panchang and also the origin of Bengali calendar? I think we already talked about that. We have this book. We need to review this book, Time, the Kala Darshana, building blocks of time. So it talks about the Hindu
Right.
perspective of time. So we can cover the Bengali calendar and other things
We can
in that.
cover, and also मतलब जो main idea था, we have already talked about it.
Hmm, hmm,
You can crop our video and send it across and share it in
hmm.
large number. Other than that, you have to we have to sort of, yeah, we have to multiply the voice. There is no other way to sort of achieve this other than sort of popularizing our own thing, just like Bangladesh is doing, right? No matter how much I discuss it here, until unless the this whatever we have discussed is getting multiplied, we cannot counter that propaganda. So share it across. You can crop the video. You're free to share a part of our video, and it's not a problem. But हाँ, time जो book है उस पे हम लोग we will talk about it in the coming days in more detail. Actually मतलब I am, as you know कि मैंने भी एक छोटा मोटा पीएचडी करके रखा है थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स में, एंड आई ऑल्सो थिंक अबाउट टाइम. तो आई गेट वेरियस आइडियाज फ्रॉम वेरियस बुक्स इंक्लूडिंग एंशियंट हिंदू टेक्स्ट बुक. तो ऑब्वियसली एक दिन बैठ के इस पे हम लोग बातें करेंगे. एंड बिकॉज टाइम इज अ वेरी साइंटिफिक टॉपिक, इट इज अ वेरी स्पूरियस टॉपिक. टाइम हमें पता भी नहीं है कि क्या है. इफ आई स्टार्ट क्वेश्चनिंग यू कि in the absence of these celestial things, or in the absence of any object, or in the absence of any movement, what is the meaning of time? वहाँ पे चीजें थोड़ा वही थोड़ा मतलब अंधकार होने लगता है, डार्क होने लगता है. तो हम लोग बैठ के बातें करेंगे, एंड आई वांट इट टू बी हार्डकोर साइंटिफिक टॉपिक बिकॉज इट इज अ टॉपिक ऑफ मॉडर्न थियोरेटिकल साइंस. तो हम लोग बैठ के एक दिन बात करेंगे. आई विल स्टडी एंड देन आई विल give a talk on it.
Yeah, so we have one more question, so we can take this. Okay, I think Bijita you can answer because this audio is some audio issue with Kalki. So on the 10th avatar of Vishnu, how did you came about the idea of naming publication?
Right, right. So since Kalki, I mean Kalki himself is here talking about this magazine, but he is having some noise from his end.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead, go ahead.
but yeah, so the as you can see, ki, no matter how grim the present reality is in terms of different things that Sanatanis are sort of having. I myself have written a whole book on generational Hindu genocides for 1,000 years, and it has not ended yet. But we cannot be disappointed, or we cannot be pessimistic, thinking and imagining a grim future of the native people of this land and the native ideas of this land. तो इसलिए we are imagining कि maybe through our work we are going to sort of pave the way to sort of bring a very hopeful future, which will converge with the idea of Kalki, as sort of mentioned in Hindu Shastras. Not only Hindu, I mean, in the Shastras of India, इन द शास्त्रास ऑफ भारत. तो इसीलिए कल की पब्लिकेशन नाम रखा गया है. इसके अंडर जैसे एकम आएगा, शायद दो तीन और भी प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग करने के लिए सोच रहे हैं, वो बाद में रिवील किया जाएगा. And our aim is to sort of give some voice, because whatever going on in, for example, in Bengal right now, you can see कि no party has the guts to call it out why this is happening, राइट. ये कुछ दूसरे देशों में होता तो देश तबाह कर देता. मतलब बांग्लादेश जैसे कंट्री अगर यूएस के साथ ऐसा करता, बांग्लादेश अब तक खत्म हो चुका होता. बट इंडियन पॉलिटी इज इन सच अ डिसअपॉइंटिंग स्टेट कि सबको अपना अपना हिसाब देखना है, बिकॉज ऑफ विच द मेजोरिटी पॉपुलेशन एंड द सनातनी पॉपुलेशन ऑफ दिस कंट्री आर सफरिंग. तो इसलिए हमें एक स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑल्टरनेटिव वॉइस क्रिएट करना है, पॉलिटिकल एंड अपॉलिटिकल, विच विल बी ग्राउंडेड ऑन फैक्ट्स, साइंटिफिक रियलिटीज. ठीक है, हम लोग ऐसे बेकार की बातें नहीं करेंगे. but based on facts and good foundational philosophical Hindu concepts, we are going to raise our voice. एंड जैसे मैंने बुक मेरे बुक में लिखा है साढ़े शत्रु सिक्स एनिमीज मैंने जैसे डिटेक्ट किया है, इसमें एमएनएम आता है कि मार्क्स मतलब जो मुल्ला मुफ्ती क्लास आता है, मिशनरीज आता है, मिलॉर्ड्स आते हैं जो मैकॉली एजुकेटेड लोग हैं, मैकॉलिज्म इटसेल्फ आता है, मीडिया आता है जो लुटियंस मीडिया है खास करके। ठीक है, तो ये जो डिफरेंट सेगमेंट है, ये जो साढ़े शत्रु बाहर हमारे विराज कर रहे हैं, उनको कैसे काउंटर किया जाए, उसके वजह से हम लोग धीरे धीरे कल की पब्लिकेशन फिर ऐसे एकम मैगजीन निकाल रहे हैं, आगे कुछ और काम करेंगे एंड वी विल कीप यू अपडेटेड अबाउट इट।
Okay, so I think we should end the stream here. So thank you again, and a happy Navabarsha to all of
शुभ
you, to the
नववर्ष।
audience, everybody. Okay, the audio issue consists. So we'll say thank you, Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
जय श्री राम।